What's good, YouTube? That192 here, back again once again, and today I have a different video of sorts for you guys. We're gonna be reviewing slash critiquing slash just general conversation about this new game that is making a lot of noise for itself, a lot of buzz for itself, called Hatred. If you guys have never heard of Hatred, the link to the official trailer is included in the description, but I do want to go ahead and provide a warning for you guys. Hatred is making as much noise and as much buzz as it is because it is an ultra violent game, a very aggressive and very violent game. So if you have a weak stomach or you're just not one to be interested in seeing things like that, then by all means do not click the link in the description. I'm not just gonna play it for you guys, but if you do want to see it, like I said, the link to the official trailer is included in the description. If you're not interested in watching it, a brief synopsis of what it is essentially this character that you play as, this main character that is so full of rage and hatred that he wants to kill everybody. These parasites on the world that are feeding off the carcass that is the world. The entire world is just terrible, and he hates his life, and he wants everybody to die, and he's ready to die as well. So basically, the entire point, the entire objective of the game is to go on a massive killing spree and kill as many people as you can. The best way to parallel this, if you guys ever seen the movie Rampage on Netflix, it's essentially a video game version of that. To the T, it's essentially a video game version of that. I don't even know if that's still on Netflix or not. I watched that like 2 or 3 years ago. But either way, it's essentially Rampage, and it's been making a lot of noise lately because, like I said, it's an ultra-violent game, and it got even more notoriety because Valve, the people behind Steam, went ahead and pulled it from their greenlight program even after it shot to like the number 7th position or something like that on like the day it was put on the greenlight program. It skyrocketed, obviously, because it's this crazy ultra-violent game that's obviously going to grab everybody's attention. But Steam went ahead and contacted them, or the developers behind it, which I think is it's Destructive. It's not Destructive Studios. It's Destructive something. They played it at the beginning of the trailer. I feel bad for not knowing off the top of my head. But Steam essentially pulled it and said they would not publish the game on their platform, which sucks for them because Steam is essentially the go-to place if you want to sell a game on PC, because let's be honest, Steam is fucking amazing. But it really hurts because that means that Hatred is probably not going to get as many sales as it would before. On top of that, a lot of other YouTubers have in turn made their own thoughts slash reactions video to not just the trailer, but everything that's happened since the game has generated all this buzz and whatnot. And Boogie2988 did a video talking about it a few days ago, and he brought up a lot of points. He has a very unique opinion on it, in my opinion, and I feel like I kind of sort of share the same opinion with him in the sense that we can both look at it from two different perspectives instead of just forming one focal opinion and just ignoring everything else about it. But I do differ from his opinion in a little bit. I'll include a link to his video as well so you guys can check that out and have a full grasp of the conversation before I dive into this. But essentially, I can tell you right now off the bat, I don't think that Hatred is a game that needs to be made. I'm just going to say that right now, and I hope that you can listen beyond that and understand why I say that and not just automatically judge what I'm about to say and just close the video. One of the points that Boogie made in his video was the notion of freedom of speech and the freedom to go ahead and make a game and publish a game and do what you want. I agree with him 100% on that. I feel like in today's day and age, you should be able to do anything and everything that you want to do as long as you're not actually killing somebody or whatever. I feel like you should be able to do anything that you want. If you're a grown man and you pay taxes and you can be drafted into the military and you're old enough to drink and yada yada, you should be able to do whatever you want to do. But at the same time, I think that in today's day and age, a game like Hatred is not one that needs to be made. I feel like in light of all of the domestic terrorism incidents that have happened over the past few years, I mean, hell, just yesterday or the day before, there was an incident in Australia with ISIS. That was an act of, well, it was international, but still, it was something that happened right then and there. And nobody expected it to happen. It was just a coffee shop. And I feel like it's just in poor taste to have a video game like this made. And especially over the past decade or so, as a lot of a lot of politicians have gotten involved in a lot of these incidents, saying that, you know, it's violent video games that cause this to happen. And you know, like Boogie said in his video, you know, violent video games in fact don't cause things like that to happen. If anything, it's the exact opposite. People that sit at home all day and play video games aren't the ones to go out and do all this crazy stuff. But I feel like this is just the straw that will break the camel's back. This will be the red flag. This will be the go-to game that any politician needs. The red ticket. You know, Grand Theft Auto used to be that game, and I feel like Grand Theft Auto has just it's kind of sort of fought for its own place in the gaming industry, and it's become a staple. And so now it's one of those things that have been around for so long that nobody can really go to that anymore and use that as a scapegoat. Whereas with this brand new game, Hatred, whose sole intent is to go on a mass killing spree, killing millions, I don't want to say millions, if you don't know if you kill a million people in one go at the game or whatnot, but still, killing dozens upon hundreds of thousands of people, innocent people. That is the sole purpose of this game. And you know, you could parallel that to Grand Theft Auto, but that's not the only purpose of Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto has other things that you do in the game besides just the notion or the option of going to kill somebody. Because even that's another thing. A lot of people have paralleled Grand Theft Auto to Hatred, saying, "Oh, well, you don't support Hatred, but you'll support Grand Theft Auto. You're a hypocrite." Well, in Grand Theft Auto, they give you the option to kill anybody you want because it's open world, it's free roaming. That's something that you can do. But that's not the sole purpose of Grand Theft Auto. The sole purpose of Grand Theft Auto is not to go on a killing spree, and it's not to kill dozens and hundreds of innocent people. You know, that's the same thing with Call of Duty. You know, you can they give you a gun in Call of Duty, you can run around and shoot people, but the notion is that you're in the military, you're fighting a war. You know, the other person is a quote-unquote bad guy. Whereas if you go into Hatred, you're just slaughtering innocent people. That's the main difference that you have to understand. You're literally, it's domestic terrorism in a video game format. And that's the real difference. And I can understand the parallels between Grand Theft Auto and Hatred. I understand that. Trust me, I do. Before anybody wants to go keyboard warrior in the comment section, I understand you. I understand you. But you have to understand at the same time the differences that the games carry. So, overall, I don't think that Hatred is going to be a very good game in the fight for violence in video games. I don't think it is. I feel like if Hillary Clinton was still on her high horse about it, she'd jump all over it and use Hatred as the poster child for why violent video games cause all this stuff to happen in the world. You know, I feel like Hatred is that game. I kind of sort of agree with Valve's decision to pull it. Like I said, I agree with Boogie's notion of free speech. You know, I agree with that notion. I agree with the idea that the people that created Hatred should have the right to create it. They should, by all means. More power to you. More power to you. But at the same time, that same notion, that same idea of free speech should be applied to Steam and Valve as well. You know, that's their product. That's their platform. And at the end of the day, they're the ones that get to say whether it goes up or not. And that's their prerogative. That's their right. And even more, if you want me to provide some sort of parallel, you know, parallel Steam as like a world power of sorts. I don't know if this is gonna be a metaphor or an example that's gonna click with everybody. But for example, compare Steam to the U.S. And before I even start this, please don't involve any politics or anything like that in this. If you're from another country and you feeling differently about the U.S., this is not the time or place for it. We're talking about Hatred right now. But what I wanted to say is, you know, for example, how the U.S. is like the world cop. You know, whether you feel that way or not, you can pull example after example from history where the US has stepped into a particular situation that they necessarily weren't always involved in, and they have policed the issue and came to a resolution. That's kind of sort of how Steam is. You know, they are the authority on PC gaming. So I feel like if they feel a game is in bad taste, or if they feel a game is not going to be one that would benefit gaming as a whole, I'm kind of sort of glad that Steam stepped in and did quote unquote the right thing. You know, I'm glad that they stepped in and decided to pull it, because at the end of the day, you have to look at the game for what it is. And to me, when it comes to a controversial topic like this, you have to decide what's going to be the best option for the greater good. You know, are we going to benefit as a gaming society to go ahead and publish this game, or are we going to just hold ourselves back? Are we gonna put ourselves back by pushing this game out, all for the sake of freedom of speech? And I'm not saying that freedom of speech is a bad thing. I feel like that whole thing just now just made it come off like a bad thing. You know, like I already said multiple times in this video, you know, more power to Destructive and whatever games they want to make. I just feel like it's not helping any sort of progress that the gamers or the video game community itself has made over the past decade or so. I feel like it's not helping, and I feel like it's almost in poor taste, especially with everything that's happened in the world over the past couple of years. I feel like, you know, the people at Destructive may have sat down and said, you know, what's one thing we can do that was just gonna grab everybody's attention, that's gonna be the next big thing, you know. And I feel like they went from one extreme to the other. You know, they went from a game that would be decent, everyone loved, to a game that let's just push the limits and go as crazy as we possibly can. You know, I feel like, I don't want to call it childish, but I feel like going with that logic, which I'm sure not everyone at Destructive had, but you know, in the sake of an example, I feel like going with that logic, it almost seems childish to me. You know, to intentionally try to create a game that's so outlandish and so aggressive and ultra violent, with the intent of just trying to get a whole bunch of publicity off of it. To me, that's just, I don't know, I can't back a game like that. I can't back a game like that. And like I said, I feel like that would just become the new scapegoat for any and all people that are pro the argument of violence in video games to just fall back on. You know, this is a perfect example. This is a video game whose sole intent and purpose is to just promote domestic terrorism. And you know, I just can't get behind that. I can't get behind that. Now, as an educated gamer, I like to consider myself that, someone that can look at an issue and craft and form my own opinion with something behind it besides just saying, no, I don't like this game. I could honestly sit here and play Hatred and disassociate myself from the gameplay and the real world. You know, I can separate one and the other, and I'm not gonna go out and go on a mass killing spree. Whereas someone else that might play this game might not be able to do that. And you know, that's really where there's a thin line, and that's what the whole debate is about. And I feel like as we're trying to fight and promote the notion and the idea that violent video games don't create violent people, I feel like this game just doesn't help the cause, and that is my main driving force for behind not wanting this game to be a thing, not wanting this game to be something that is so promoted and so talked about and so supported. You know, I feel like in today's day and age, people just take everything so lightly and as so much of a joke. So, you know, they would just push this game through just for the sake of saying, oh, I played Hatred, or oh, we got Hatred made, you know, stick it to the man, yada 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 yada. I don't know, I feel like I'm rambling now. I feel like I touched on enough of what I needed to get my point across, or at least I hope I did. If you guys have any questions or comments, or want to form your own opinion, let us know in the comments below. I already know there's going to be keyboard warriors that are going to disagree with me, and whatever. I just expect it, but I respect everybody's opinion on the topic, and I know no matter what, at the end of the day, if the game's going to be made, it's going to be made. I just really, really hope it doesn't prove to be that scapegoat. that a lot of people are going to fall back on. That's honestly my biggest fear with this game being created. So either way, like I said, let me know what you guys think about the game and your own opinion on it. Should it be made? Should it not be made? Should Steam have done what they did? Should Steam have not done what they did? And just let me know what you guys think in the comments below. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out. I hope that you guys enjoyed. You know me, TheKingNappy 182.